All right, you guys are live.
All right, folks, it is 2:30, so I will call the Finance and Personnel Committee to order. Present this afternoon, I'll look at my screen and go clockwise. Finance Director Brian Crum, Mayor Stephen Shagg, Deputy Finance Director Amber Cutlip, Council Member Nathan Martin, and myself, Garland Gates. So I have printed out the financial statement for February. So Director Crum, where would you like to start? The first page or the last page?
Oh, we can start with the first page today.
All right.
Nothing's really too surprising this month, so we'll just go straight through it. First line item, the general fund. The end of the month, we had cash of $1,133,000 and some change. After encumbrances, we were about a $950,000. Compared to last year, we're up 389 grand. We are down about a little more than 168,000 for the year. That doesn't really surprise me. We don't get the administrative costs until after council approves appropriations, so that's going to cause a large bump in next month. Not much of property tax comes in, compared to like health and park, but property tax hasn't been received yet for the first half of the year. That'll come probably April. It's not surprising at all that the first few months are down. Not to mention, I guess, income tax returns haven't really come in yet.
Is today the first half collection deadline, the 11th?
The 15th.
The 15th, okay. All right.
And I guess that's really more at the federal level. I believe that everything's due April 15th here.
No, I meant for real estate tax.
Oh, real estate tax. Sorry.
Seems to me this was the date. Whatever.
Yeah, maybe it was today, but yeah, any time right now it's all due. So the county should have it to us here very shortly. So I'm happy with the general fund where it's at there. The street fund, what do we have left? 136,000. It's 106 after encumbrances. We're up $14,000 for the year, which really kind of surprises me. We've been hit with a lot of snow plowing. And so, overtime and plowing on holidays and such that we've paid out in 2021. So to keep that actually in the black is impressive. And a large. What's that?
I was going to comment on the salt. You have to remember the 210 fund helps out with that. And so I think they didn't use as much last year, actually, is what happened. So that helped.
Oh.
Yeah, just FYI. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it. Yeah, that's why we're a team here. And I will tell you that of the 30,000 encumbered in the street fund, I want to say 16,000 of that is for salt that we'll be purchasing anytime now. So I'm happy with that fund. Nothing really too surprising with the state highway or street sales tax funds, or really income tax for that matter. Health and park, obviously those revenues will jump up after we get property taxes.
Right.
We do have some pretty heavy expenses in the health fund, and a lot of that's due to COVID response. So they're down 34,000 for the year, and they've got another almost 45,000 encumbered. But there's a lot going on with our health department right now, so that doesn't surprise me. Park fund is really they haven't really kicked off much of their season yet, so. Nothing too notable there. Most of the rest of the 200 funds are pretty bland at this point.
Yeah. Jump back to park. I saw the headline in today's paper. I didn't read it, but evidently some substantial leak in the pool.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I want to say Jerry said it was 30,000 gallons or something. I told him we'd take it out of his paycheck, but he thinks it has to do with the caulking somewhere. They
Most
kind of,
likely.
yeah, they rushed the caulking a little bit last year. Typically they let it dry a few days because we were trying to get it open. So it's not a massive issue, or he doesn't think, as far as going forward. He thinks we'll be able to drain the pool here on the next month and get it recaulked, and we should be good.
Good.
So he's not too worried about it. Let's see, midway on the page, the 283 local coronavirus relief fund. You'll see we've got just shy of 45,000 left in that account. It's 22,681 after encumbrances. So that'll work out really well as far as what we want to, that potential taxi purchase. So I'm happy to have that there. The 300 fund, no real news. We haven't really started any projects because we're waiting until
Right.
appropriations are done. As are the sidewalks and street funds. They're just sort of hanging out waiting.
Right.
The police court construction fund, no expenses yet. We do have 17,000 encumbered, which has to do with some of the roof issues that we're working through. And that takes us to utilities. Obviously, the delay in mail didn't help us any, because obviously we had to waive all late fees this month. The one that's obviously that is hurting worst, which has kind of been the story for a while, is the sewer fund. They're down $10,000 for the year. They still have 202,000 in cash with 172,000 encumbered, or after encumbrances, excuse me. That would have been really bad. But so, we're keeping an eye on it though, and hopefully some of these plans that Mr. Ensman's putting forth for everything, and obviously it getting back full steam from construction. He feels that should see a change here in the near future. The 401 fund has that drop of 153,000 due to note payments at the beginning of the year. Nothing too crazy with the 402 fund. The 500 fund is actually up about 29,000. We've got 316,000 in the bank, 233 after encumbrances. So it's nice to see that kind of moving back into a healthier balance. The 501 water asset management fund, which is a change in title from last year, that's down 108,000 due to the last note payment on the water treatment plant. But I think that'll be a steady, healthy fund, and that'll grow to keep everything running smoothly. Water capital improvement, nothing too surprising there. The electric and telecommunications fund, Fund 600, it has just a little over 5.9 million in the bank. After encumbrances, it's 4.765 million. We're actually up 85,000 for the year. It's an interesting fund because as much as you try to reduce it, then all of a sudden expenses have been reduced accordingly, and we keep breaking even. So we'll talk to John about that and see what we can do about that situation. Light debt reserve fund, the 602 fund, you will see that we're down about 45,000 in the year, and we've got another 56,000 or 57,000 encumbered. That's all having to do with the demolition of the surrounding buildings. So those are on the ground now. I think we'll be paying.
And we have a change order that's coming through for that.
Correct. Yes. They wanted an additional 10,000 for removing some significant footer type work that they didn't anticipate.
Okay. Well, I mean, that happens when you open up the ground.
Yeah. So true. Nothing too surprising in the next few accounts. Obviously, the police and fire equipment funds are down a little bit because they kind of get hit heavy with clothing allowances at the beginning of the year. The hospitalization fund, it is up 30,000 from the beginning of the year. We've got 649,000 in the bank. So hopefully that continues and we can maybe get a partial reprieve on a month's payment to help out the other funds. All in all, we've got 14,504,000 in the bank at the end of the month. After encumbrances of 1.7 million, we're at just shy of 12,800,000 unencumbered. We're down 288,000 for the year, but I'm not surprising. Not worried about it in the slightest. That's all I have for the first page, unless anybody has any questions or comments.
Mr. Crum, and maybe Amber can also have her input here. At what point in the hospitalization fund, weren't we talking about at least getting a partial? I mean, maybe we don't want to do the whole, maybe keep a little healthier balance in there. And have you two thought of, what that amount looks like that we would then
Right.
take a reprieve or get a
I
reprieve?
mean, as far as the insurance is concerned, it's only got to have to be like 225,000, I believe, somewhere in that ballpark. So we're well above that. In the past, historically, they always said if there was 400,000 in there, they felt pretty comfortable. Obviously, health costs continue to rise every year. I mean, if it stays like this, I mean, any month really, we could do that reprieve. I just have to request it.
Are we thinking of a partial premium?
I think so. I don't want to get too eager.
I'm with you.
Just because, well, a lot of stuff got pushed back last year because people weren't able to get their procedures done. Plus, I hate to say, but if someone gets hospitalized severely with COVID or something, per the healthcare law, we do have to cover that, with no cost share with them. So I don't want to get too crazy, and you can always request another one later. It's not like you're cut off then forevermore. So that's my 2 cents.
I think that's a good approach. But maybe again, just seeing what a partial reprieve would look like, and maybe next month we can talk about that.
About 135,000 a month premium. So it'd be half of that split between all the funds accordingly.
Mhm.
I can request it anytime, really. We could have it probably set up for maybe the May premium. I can ask if you'd like me to.
Yeah, why don't you get the, the details, and then, after, April, when, the appropriations are all done, and then, we can figure that in. So, that's a good question, Mayor. In other words, what's the optimum
Mhm.
figure to have there? And Amber, I think I heard you say 400,000.
That's what they said before, that's what I've always heard from
Okay.
finance directors.
And that figure can move, obviously, depending what our experience is and what happens in healthcare generally. So,
I've also watched it plummet very quickly before too. Lose
Yes.
200,000 in 1 month from a very expensive hospital bill. So I've seen it go both ways.
yeah.
And I'm with you. I appreciate the caution, and I think in years gone by, Councilman Gates, you may remember, I thought in those days we just would go for the whole premium, but I don't think that'd be the prudent thing to do. But if we could maybe, go for a half a premium reprieve, I don't know if that's the right terminology, but maybe, as you said, maybe get those figures, and maybe the best place to talk about would be a month from now.
Yeah.
In this committee meeting, and see what action we'd jointly like to take.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we could probably have it for the month of May or June.
Let's plan. Let's tentatively plan for that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, that takes care of page 1. Let's move right along.
Okay. Let's see. Page 2, total budget. Our expenditures have exceeded revenues by 288,000 so far for the year. But compared to last year, We're actually doing a little better. Expenditures is exceeded by 566,000. So I'm happy with that. General fund, obviously, as we kind of spoke, we're down 168, but once again, compared to 185 last year. So the 101 revenue section right there in the middle of the page, the biggest item there, you see a $65,000 increase in the account 143 county grants and aid. And that has to do, as Amber graciously reminded me, last year, the county reimburses us for some of the court salaries. And that was delayed last year because they were kind of arguing it as to what it should be. And so we received those funds later in the year. So we've received them timely this year, which is why you'll see a large increase over the $2,400 last year. Fortunately, well, I guess it'll probably even out as in the next month or so. The other major item in that section is the transfers from the income tax fund to the general fund. It's actually down about 25,000 this year. It's 365,000 compared to 390. Which is not entirely unexpected. And well, we'll talk about that here in just a second as I get to the bottom of the page. Wages, general fund wages are up 3.5%. That's not too surprising either. We've had some increase in wage costs, and notes are wrong on that, but not terribly out of line, especially early in the year, because a few people take vacation this early in the year and it skews that number a lot. Police, court, and revenue, or I'm sorry, capital improvements, as we spoke, we haven't really started any projects yet. And same with the police court, no expenses yet because we haven't had to make any of the note payments. That takes us to our funnest portion of this page, the income tax. You will see that overall, we've collected 606,000 income tax compared to 645 last year, which is down 6.04%. The one I'm happiest about is withholding. You see that withholding is up 0.84% from last year. That makes me happy because that's sort of what I was hoping for with appropriations. The first two numbers, February is so early in income tax season that it's just it all depends on who wants to file their returns when. Right. Very surprised that business income tax returns are up. That was a little shocking to me. So, I'll keep an eye on it here in the next couple months. We'll really know a lot better. But, to be down 6% through February, I'm not upset with that. I think that the individuals are gonna skew a lot more than being down 53%. I think it'll get a lot closer to 100% or at least 90%. So, yeah, I'm not worried yet. Does anybody else have any questions on that page?
I hope you're not worried, period, as opposed to not worried yet.
That's right. We'll be optimistic. I'm not worried in the slightest. Okay. The next page discusses utilities, which we kind of already went through. The all funds expenditures, wages are up 2.6%, which between pay raises and all the plowing, I'm pretty happy with overall up 2.6%. Hospitalization is up 4.3, which is maybe a little higher than projected, but I guess they increase the percentage they take, and then you throw some salary increases on that, which gives hospitalization a little more money. I guess. Maybe not quite. Maybe my logic's thrown a little off there, but regardless, 4.3% is not too unusual. If it stays that high, I might be talking to the vendor. But I think it'll probably go back down a little bit over the next few months as the year goes on and year-to-date numbers are a little more concrete. That's about it for the middle section. Transfers, to the various funds. Obviously they're all down proportionately. So I don't think I really need to go in that too much.
Yep.
But hey, refunds are down. They're only 5,800 so far compared to 10,600 last year. So, but once again, time will tell on that. That takes us to our cash investment reconciliation page. I don't really have anything too notable about that. None of our investments have had any changes. We have 14,504,000 in the bank, which is very, very small changes from the prior month. So that page is pretty self-evident.
A few months ago, I know that we were, for lack of a better verb, jawboning the banks about their fees. Was that for naught?
So, Amber, go ahead.
I bugged them in the last week, actually. So I'm not getting good answers from any of them. And it's very frustrating. And I was going to talk to Brian about some of that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. It's,
Yeah.
they're all on the same page, unfortunately.
Yeah, I get the same answer from all of them, even any potential new competitor. Well, because the interest is so low, that's going to affect your rate and all this. And I understand the interest is low, but I need help with the rates right now. The fees, I should say, sorry. And it's frustrating, and it's like they're all in cahoots with each other, if you would.
No comment.
And well, then they try to, of course, offer me if we need to borrow. I'm like, well, I'll let you know, but right now I'm concerned about our monthly fees. So, and I also did ask about credit card products, which of course they like that. So I'll have to, as I get information in on that, I'll consult with Brian on that too.
Well, of course, they'll hate us because we'll pay it in full every month and pay them no interest. So yeah, do they not understand that? Well, perhaps it'll be everyone even Steven, okay? We think we're being gouged is such a strong word. We think we're being we think that their fees are too high. Well, wait till they see the interest we're going to pay on our credit card. So, again, it may be a wash that way. They'll be just as disappointed in us as we are in them about their.
Yeah, I don't feel, at least if I can talk to the branch and any fees I can get waived in the least bit, I don't feel sad about it because we pay not by Phil. So I'll put it that way. Yeah, it's been frustrating conversations from last year, needless to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That 100%.
Remind me to tell you a story about John DeVito and bank fees from 35 years ago. We don't have time for it now, but
we will certainly do that. Okay, that takes us to the next page, which is just the Sitter Roush funds. They're sort of just hanging in there. We're down, $2,000 for the year. Nothing too surprising. The investments are down a little bit. I think I might have paid a couple small bills. So nothing shocking there. That takes us to the last page, which has our income tax collection. We are at 605,000 year to date through February compared to 645 last year, which even though it's down 6% from last year, it is up 2.5% over the 3-year average. So we're still hanging in there. That's not too shabby.
no, I think that's very good.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. You will see in the bottom half there, we only brought in 270,000 in February. We had a much stronger January. But there's still 2 years that in 2017 and 2019 we were below that amount. So all depends on who wants to come in on any given day, I guess.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with where we are for the time being, at least.
Very good.
I-
The appropriations ordinance is set to go. Mayor, I'm sorry. The appropriations ordinance is good to go.
Yes, it is. It is back from the law director's office. I've got my certification with it, as well as the county's revenue budget certification. So I think all is well with that.
Okay. You might want to take the copy you got back from the law director and add those figures and make sure that they double check.
Good idea. I will do that after our
This-
meeting.
Mrs. Carlisle used to do that. And the mayor's chuckling because she would find errors, much to the embarrassment of your predecessor 2 people back. But she did that. I don't have an adding machine. And if I did, I don't have the inclination to double check your figures. I can figure that you can hand that to somebody and say, add up these figures and make sure that they're correct. So
Good
Mayor,
idea.
you were gonna,
It was just in regard to the tax collections that talked to one of our tax clerk, and she said they're just beginning now to see more traffic coming in here. So just it's just beginning.
okay. Well, Patty and I picked up ours from our tax person, and we owe the city $5, but if it's less than $10, you don't have to pay. So sorry, Brian.
I'm changing it.
Hey, you know
Nathan,
what?
would you like to vote to change that ordinance?
I was gonna, it's, on the federal level, it's like, there's something that we can take advantage of, it's like, fine, it's like, I don't write the tax code. Oh, wait, in Shelby, I do. Sorry. I didn't write the tax code in thinking, oh, you know what? In 2020, I'm going to owe an additional $5 because I preached twice in Tiffin and didn't pay taxes there. So those, as the mayor knows, those wacky clergy tax laws. So
wacky.
all right. Okay. Well, so far so good this year. We'll monitor see what we can do with the hospitalization and the and other things, and maybe if workers' comp doesn't take so much initially, only to turn around and give it back to us, but then that's been like a 30-year battle, there. So that's just kind of their MO. I'm sad to say, but okay. The administrative fees, do those get transferred? I seem to think they get transferred to the general fund all at once, or is it something monthly or quarterly?
Well, let me think. For January, February, March, we can do those 3 months after appropriations.
Right.
And then after that, we'll start on the first of each month.
Okay, so we do the first quarter because obviously you can't do it until, okay, but it's a monthly transfer. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Mr. Martin, do you have anything else to add or comment on the financial report? Well, I guess not.
No, sorry.
Okay. All right, Mayor, we'll turn to you for the personnel second half of.
I don't think we have anything to report this month as far as personnel is concerned.
Well, he can't get off that easy.
I just did.
We had a pre-meeting even, and we scratched our heads.
Yeah.
Wait till
We
next
may have
month.
something. We may have something to report next month, and nothing deep, dark, mysterious, but maybe something next month.
Well, we know from what the 2 chiefs told us about, some retirements, I think there's but the one confirmed, firefighter Paulo. But there's others that could be, and what the fire chief, well, both police and fire, they've got, they're both older departments, and obviously, there'd be some concern about, the payouts that we would have to do if everyone who could retire did retire. But then we also have to think about on the operational end, we've got, that would be a huge loss of experience, to the city, both in the police department and the fire department. So, and I highly recommend retirement. Don't get me wrong, but I wouldn't want to see everyone who could retire, retire at their first opportunity.
Correct.
Yeah, again, that's and again, both chiefs are could retire if they wanted to. So that's something we have no control over. People have in those cases, they're 25 years in and have the desire, they'll
Sure.
do it.
That's true.
Now they can do what Steve Dorsey did, who's retired police officer for Shelby. He's been the police chief in Greenwich for years now. They may well, go elsewhere. Crestline, I understand, has a need for safety forces, but that's a snarky comment, so we'll move on. I know. So the mayor's going to be judicious and not comment at all. So
We
All right.
have seen some very skilled past Crestline employees, including our income tax clerk. So
yeah. Well, it's in all seriousness, that we've had some good people who've come from Crestline to Shelby. So
And everybody else got themselves in trouble. So do they have anybody left over there?
well, moving right along.
We'll see, yeah.
Is there anything? Yeah, we're gonna get into trouble here, Director Crum, if we keep
Right.
going. So with that, if there's no other business to come before Finance and Personnel, I'll adjourn the meeting at 3:03 p.m.
Okay, thank you guys.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Take care,
Good
everyone.
afternoon.